Her parents' expansive mansion, which always felt more like a home, was filled with the sound of wine glasses clinking. More like a museum than a house, the polished hardwood floors glowed under crystal chandeliers. From a speaker in the corner, weak jazz floated in, mixing with low chatter as I stood near the edge of the room, clutching a glass of red I hadn't touched. Everyone was celebrating Camille's new corporate position, an offer from a tech giant's financial department. Even though she didn't think I had the right to, I was proud of her. This was the ladder she'd been eyeing for years. The room buzzed, her cousin snapping photos, her father bragging loudly to anyone who'd listen. Then her mother, Elaine, raised a glass and spoke. Camille's eyes sparkled like a silk-wrapped dagger. She raised her chin and laughed, declaring that she had finally leveled up, leaving the freeloaders behind. She glanced at me just for a moment. Laughter echoed around the room, not cruel, but sharp, judging, familiar. I felt each sneer like a slap. Camille turned to me, lips curled into the sarcastic smirk she'd perfected, the one reserved for strays taken in out of pity. "Seriously, Mason," she said, loud enough for all to hear. "Get a life. Stop hanging around Jake just to feel important." The room went quiet. The words landed hard. "He's rich. He's successful. You're not." It felt like the air had been knocked out of me. Uncle Darius muttered something about tough love, trying to laugh it off, but no one else did. I could have said something. I could have let the heat rising in my chest explode. Instead, I smiled. Not a weak smile, not the kind that begs for approval. This one was different. It was the kind of smile that knows something the room doesn't, because Camille, with all her ambition and quick wit, had no idea whose name was on her paycheck. I took a sip. The wine burned, but it fit the moment. The party buzzed back to life. Elaine whispered something to Camille that made her laugh again. The awkward moment vanished. She looked radiant, her dark hair glossy, her dress hugging her like it was made for her. She truly was beautiful. But beauty doesn't dull the sting. I'd heard her digs before, about my lack of drive, about how lucky I was to know Jake, at dinners, at events. Her father, Lawrence, would nod along, smirking like they were helping me by pointing out my flaws. I let it go. Every time. Because I wasn't waiting to grow a backbone. I was waiting to see. I've learned. People show you who they really are when they think you have nothing to offer, Camille thought. I was simple. Just some guy orbiting Jake for a sense of importance, but she never knew the truth. Because I never told her. I wanted to see how far she'd go. Her insults stung deeper that night, maybe because of the crowd's reaction, maybe because she never looked back to see how I took it. Something shifted. I set the glass down on a table. Its stem caught the light for a second. I could have gone to her, taken her aside, told her everything. But what would that achieve? Timing is everything. And tonight wasn't the time. Uncle Darius caught my arm as I walked by. "So, Mason, what do you actually do these days?" He slurred, loud enough to draw eyes. Same question, always. I gave my standard reply. "Helping Jake with some projects." He nodded, unimpressed. They never saw me. Not really. Just the guy who somehow married Camille. And didn't deserve. Outside, the cool air struck my face, grounding me. I leaned on the balcony, looking out at the glowing city below. If only she knew, I thought. You wouldn't be standing there if it weren't for me. I wasn't mad. Not really. More disappointed. Maybe even curious. How would she react if she found out? Laugh? Brush it off? Or would it shake her? I pulled out my phone. Jake had texted, "Heard about the party? You good?" I smiled. Jake knew me better than most. "Let her find out when the time's right," I replied. Millie's laugh drifted out through the balcony doors. The party carried on. I straightened my jacket. This wasn't the end. Not even close. She could have her moment, her applause. I didn't need any of it. I had something else. Control. I walked back inside, ready to play my part, with patience, with truth, with a smile that would outlast every insult. This wasn't about ego. It wasn't even about revenge. It was about seeing her, really seeing her, once the masks came off. She is already making friends, as seen by the Pulse Logic emblem on the wall behind her, and she is grinning with her new squad. He texted me. I gazed at the picture of her hopeful face, which brought back memories of our early conversations, about our dreams. Inexpensive takeaway before she began evaluating me based on her definition of success. I believed at the time that we would create something together, not a business, but a life. The irony wasn't lost on me that she was a part of my business while believing it belonged to someone else. Every paycheck she'd obtain, every project she touched, every door she entered, everything was connected to me. Not in a domineering manner, but in the quiet sense of ownership built from years of unseen work. Unbelievably, after years of work, no one notices that I wrote the code for the company's main software. I created the mechanisms that allowed it to stay ahead of rivals. Jake was the voice, of course, but I was the engine, and Camille was one of hundreds of workers who didn't recognize the man behind the curtain. The night she returned home, she remarked, "It's amazing," as she kicked off her heels and dropped her bag on the couch. Her enthusiasm was tremendous. The office, the people, the vibe, it's like I'm finally where I'm supposed to be. She poured herself a drink of water. She didn't inquire about my day, not realizing I had been out late fixing a server problem. I simply nodded while she talked about how she could sense the creativity in the air at her new desk, and how great her new boss was. I could have told her I had chosen that desk layout, that my restless nights were the reason for the innovation. But all I said was, "Sounds like you're happy." She gave me a glance, then acted like she was looking for something. "Yeah," she said, "I am." And she moved on, already preoccupied with her plans for the next day. She believed she had entered Jake's world, a place where he was the star and I was nobody. But she was wrong. This was my world. Our world. He was the face. I was the foundation. But mine in a way she couldn't comprehend, and I wouldn't need to shout it from the rooftops. The truth was too significant to remain hidden forever. For now, I would continue to work and wait. Let her think what she wanted. When the time came, it always came. My laptop's hum filled the silence in my house. As night fell outside the city, I felt grounded by the steady rhythm of the office. I spent the day fine-tuning a new algorithm for Pulse Logic, the kind of work that flickered like stars across the skyline. Most employees thought Jake was the genius. He had a gift for